Assalamu alaikum. Motion. What do you mean by motion? It is the change in the position of the object with respect to time. What do you mean by that? If we have an object, car for example, and the position of the car, مكان أو موضوع, change with time. So the position of the car at particular time in that, and after time, the time changes, it has in this position. اتغير مكانه. So this is the motion. If there is no change in position, يعني stay on its position and the time go on, time عمال يعدي, stay in the same position. So no change in position with time, so no motion. Distance. What do you mean by distance? It is the total path covered by the object in motion. The total path. المسافة كلها أو المسار كله. The distance denoted by d. SI unit of distance is meter. It is a scalar quantity. Let us see this one. An object start at the point A and go in this direction to the point B, 5 meter, and then return back to the point C, 2 meter. The distance here, it is the total path. So the distance denoted by D equals 5 plus 2, it is 7 meter. It is a scalar quantity. What about the displacement? The displacement is the shortest path between initial and the final position of objects. So we have initial and the final. The displacement has direction. So the displacement is a vector quantity. Displacement denoted by S capital. And SI unit of displacement is meter. For example, if the object starts at A, so here, this is the point A, so this is the initial position. And go to the right to the point B, 5 meter. And then return back to the point C, which is 2 meter. Of course, the distance is 5 plus 2, 7 meter. But what about the displacement? The displacement here is the shortest path. The shortest path, it is from initial to final. C is final position. So the shortest path from the initial to the final, this is called the displacement. So the displacement in that example denoted by S equals 3 meter. 3 meter to the right. So remember here, 3 meter is the magnitude. And to the right, it means the direction. So direction plus magnitude, it means a vector quantity. Another example to understand the difference between distance and displacement. Look at this, please. Object start at A, so this is the initial position, and go to the right to the point B, 5 meter, and then down to the point C, which is perpendicular. Okay, let this is 3 meter, and then return back. Let this is 2 meter, not 3, because it is shortest distance, 2 meter, and then to the left 5 meter to the point D. Let this is a right angle triangle. Okay, so in that example, D is the final position. So what is the distance? The distance traveled in that example is 5 plus 2 plus 5, which is 12 meter. What about the displacement? The displacement is the shortest, okay, path between the initial and the final. So what is the shortest path? This is the shortest path. So this is called the displacement. So the displacement equals 2 meter. 2 meter downwards. So it is a vector quantity. What about the speed? What is the speed? The speed is the distance traveled by an object per unit time. This is the definition of speed. Actually, the average speed equals the total distance over the total time. We can draw this triangle to be useful for us. The average speed, or the speed denoted by V. We can say average, but V bar to say average speed. It is the distance over time. The distance is a scalar, time is a scalar, so the speed is a scalar quantity. Unit of distance is meter, unit of time is second, so the unit of speed is meter per second. So the speed has a symbol V, the same as velocity, we will study later, and the unit of speed is meter per second, and it is a scalar quantity, has no direction. From this triangle, we can deduce three formulae. The distance equals the average speed multiplied by the time, and also the time equals the distance over the average speed. Finally, the speed equals the distance over the time. What about the velocity? The velocity is the rate of a change of displacement. We have here three important things about the velocity: average velocity, instantaneous velocity, and uniform velocity. What is the difference between that three expressions? Average velocity of an object is the change in position or displacement over change in time. Average velocity denoted by V, it is the change in displacement denoted by S over the change in time. This is average velocity. So, for example, if that object has velocity 5 meters per second at this position, and after few seconds has velocity 10 meters per second. So what is the average velocity? The average velocity, it is the change in position or the total displacement over the change in time. What about the velocity at a specific point of time? This is called instantaneous velocity. So we use instantaneous velocity if the velocity is not the same through the journey. So we have here average velocity and instantaneous velocity if the velocity is not the same through the whole journey. Average velocity is the change in position over the change in time. Instantaneous velocity is the velocity of an object at a specific point in time. What about uniform velocity? Uniform, it means constant, يعني ما فيش تغيير. For example, the car moves with 5 meters per second, 5 meters per second, 5 meters per second. So no change in velocity. If there is no change in velocity, we say it's uniform velocity or constant velocity. Uniform velocity or constant velocity denoted by V, it is the displacement denoted by S over time. Also, from this triangle, we can deduce three formulae. The displacement equals the velocity multiply time, and the time equals the displacement over the velocity, and also the velocity equals the displacement over time. The velocity denoted by V, the same as speed, or the speed as the same as velocity, the same symbol, V italic. Unit of velocity is the same as unit of speed, meter per second, but the difference between speed and the velocity, speed is a scalar, but velocity is a vector quantity. We have two important units of velocity, but SI unit of velocity is meter per second. The other unit is kilometer per hour. What is the relation between both? Let us study this because it's important. If we need to convert from kilometer per hour to meter per second, what we do? Let us study this. Kilometer per hour, it means kilometer over hour. Meter per second means meter over second. So to convert from kilometer to meter, multiply by 1000. To convert from hour to second, from hour to minute, and then from minute to second. So we multiply by 60 by 60. If you use the calculator and divide 1000 over 60 multiplied by 60, so the answer of this, it becomes 5 over 18. Then this is the rule. The rule is that to convert from kilometer per hour to meter per second, we multiply by 5 over 18. What about the opposite? If we need to convert from meter per second to kilometer per hour, divide by 5 over 18. Let us study past paper questions. Okay, look at this question. The first question, train, okay, begins a journey from station, okay, and travels 60 kilometer per hour. So the given in that example is that the distance traveled equals 60 kilometer. Okay, so this is the given, 60 kilometer. And the time is 20 minutes. The time is 20 minutes. What is the average speed? The average speed equals the total distance over the total time. You know that all the units of the answers meter per second. So we have to convert kilometer to meter and minute to second. So the distance in meter, 60 kilometer to convert, multiply by 1000. And the time in minute to convert minute to second, multiply by 60. Then use the calculator. The answer is 50. So the correct answer is 50 meter per second. Another question. Car travels at an average speed. So we have average speed. So the average speed, this is the given, 60 kilometer per hour. For 15 minutes, we have the time, 15 minutes. So remember the triangle, the join between the average velocity. So the average velocity equals the distance over time. What do we need? How far? So we need the distance traveled. The distance traveled equals the average speed multiplied by the time. The answer is here in kilometer. So we have to convert minute to hour because this is kilometer per hour. From minute to hour divided by 60. So it's 15 over 60 to convert. 15 divided by 60, it is quarter or 0.25. So 0.25 hour. Then the distance traveled, it is 60 multiplied by 0.25, the time in hour. The answer is 15. So the correct answer is 15. This answer is 15 kilometer. Next question. A car travels, okay, along this path in 30 minutes. So the time here, the time is 30 minutes. What about the total distance? Because it's average speed. So the average speed is the total distance. So the total distance 10 plus 5 plus 10 plus 5. So the total distance equals 10 plus 10, 20 plus 10 equals 30 kilometer. And the time is 30 minutes. We need the answer in kilometer per hour. So we have to convert minute to hour. Divided by 60, it becomes half an hour. So the average speed equals the distance over the time. The distance is 30 and the time is 0.5. So 30 divided by 0.5, it will be 60. 60 what here? 60 kilometer per hour. So the answer is 60 kilometer per hour. The last question. A car takes 15 minutes. So the time is 15 minutes. Route 20 kilometers. This is the distance. What is the average speed? All the answer in kilometer per hour. So we have to convert minute to hour. So to convert from minute to hour, divided by 60. So 15 divided by 60, it becomes 0.25 hour. So what is the average speed? Equals the distance over time. The distance is 20 and the time is 0.25, which is 80. So the answer is 80 kilometer per hour. So the correct answer is C. I hope you understand this lesson. Thank you.